Imagine waking up to the sound of diesel engines and metal crunching. You sprint outside in pajamas, just in time to watch a backhoe rip through the irrigation line you spent 2 summers building. That metallic scream? That's $28,000 worth of USDA-approved piping being shredded like confetti. The HOA president stands there arms crossed, holding a clipboard like some suburban godfather. "Notice was served," she says. "Like that makes this okay. See, this wasn't some DIY disaster. Those pipes fed organic blueberry fields supplying Whole Foods. The county approved every permit. But Karen and her zoning committee decided agricultural equipment violates community aesthetics." Translation: My farm didn't match their Pinterest-perfect vision of beige monotony. That sting in your chest right now? I lived it. Camera footage shows them high-fiving as my water tanks drained into the dirt. Guess who paid the site restoration fine when their bulldozer cracked the retention pond? Oh, the violation letters came fast. Unauthorized earth tones in garden mulch. Excessive bird feeder capacity. Meanwhile, board members built unpermitted gazebos big enough to host a Chuck E. Cheese birthday party. The meetings were theater. 15 homeowners showed up with photos of actual violations. Elena from Lot 42 even brought notarized statements proving selective enforcement. Doesn't matter when the board votes their own fines void. You know that tightness when injustice laughs in your face? That's when I found the clause in the CC and RS, page 87, paragraph 4, no resident shall own utility infrastructure, unless purchased from developer. Cue the record scratch. Turns out the original builders kept water rights separate. Smart. Until 2008 crashed their luxury condo dreams. A forensic title search uncovered something beautiful. Their LLC still owned the distribution system and was $3.2 million in debt. The auction notice was buried in legal classifieds between a divorce and a counterfeit purse seizure. It gets better. The board never updated the bylaws when they took over. Every sprinkler, every pool fill-up, every overpriced community fountain technically ran on borrowed water. And here's the kicker. Commercial water rights transfer the moment the county clerk stamps your paperwork. No hearings. No appeals. Just the sweet sound of bureaucracy working for you for once. The morning I won the bid, I may have driven past the clubhouse extra slow. Picture the scene. 300 homes wake up to toilet tanks that won't refill. The neighborhood Facebook group explodes like Chernobyl. Is there a main break? Karen's post about lemon water for book club gets buried under 472 comments from people who can't shower. My favorite. The architecture committee chair demanding immediate action on dry lawns, while his koi pond turns into a Sunchips bag. But here's what they didn't expect. The homeowners siding with me. Turns out folks remember when you towed a cancer patient's RV during chemo visits. Or fined a vet for a PTSD service dog's excessive panting. The next door thread is a masterpiece. Screenshots of board members' own violations, a leaked email calling residents entitled whiners, and someone's grandma posting the Shinedown Enemies lyrics with crying laughing emojis. Cold vengeance? Maybe. But when the fire marshal shows up because hydrants are tapped out. When the board's emergency meeting gets Zoom-bombed by 200 people chanting, "Drink the fine print." That's when you realize something beautiful. These people weren't untouchable. They were just hiding behind procedures thicker than their skulls. And I had just flushed their leverage down a drain they no longer owned. The warning signs were there all along if you knew where to look. Like that fake-friendly letter from the HOA last spring about maintaining uniform exterior color schemes. Buried on page 3 was the real agenda. Article 7 amendments prohibit agricultural water conveyance systems. Translation: Your farm's days were numbered from the moment you planted that first blueberry bush. Remember how they made you jump through every hoop? The solar panel hearings that went nowhere. The environmental impact study they demanded despite your rainwater collection system being fully permitted. And that final meeting where board members kept checking their watches while you presented your livelihood's worth of receipts. The sinking feeling when the gavel came down, not based on facts, not based on fairness, but because they could. The foreclosure auction smelled like spilled coffee and bad decisions. Just 12 people in a courthouse annex where the air conditioning had given up years ago. The auctioneer's monotone voice droning through bankrupt golf course liens and abandoned subdivision roads. Then came Lot 8842B, water distribution rights and associated infrastructure for the Cherry Hill Estates Community Association. Hearing your neighborhood reduced to a parcel number should have felt wrong. Instead, your pen hovered over the bid sheet with an eerie calm. $182,000 for the arteries supplying every toilet flush, every overwatered petunia, every unnecessary fountain in that gaudy, Mediterranean-inspired roundabout. The bank rep barely looked up when you wired the deposit. No pomp, no circumstance. Just 18 years of compound interest on a childhood memory of your father losing his hardware store to similar small print predators. They found out the way everyone else did, through the whine of faucets pushing air. The property manager's first voicemail was almost comic. There seems to be some misunderstanding about the common area utilities. As if million-dollar water rights could vanish like a misdelivered Amazon package. By the third call, the threat started. "You'll face consequences," slurred the VP who'd approved your pipeline demolition over bourbon at the clubhouse. The real magic happened at 2:13 p.m. when the emergency HOA meeting stream went live. You watched from your porch, the same one they'd cited for unapproved welcome mat dimensions, as pixels of panicked board members materialized on screen. No carefully curated Zoom background this time. Just flushed faces and the occasional child screaming about bath night. The treasurer kept adjusting his headset like the problem was technical. "Residents must understand," he stammered. "This is clearly an illegal takeover." Cue your email blast to every household, the chain of title documents, the CC and RS with your highlighted sections, and that beautiful auction confirmation stamped recorded. The moment when 300 families realized their water bills had been paying into a shell corporation, not the HOA. You could practically smell the chlorine of backyard pools draining through power dynamics shifting in real time. Next door became a war zone. The architecture committee chair's wife posting tearful, "Think of the children," please got dunked by photos of their illegal pool house expansion. Someone dug up landscaping invoices showing board members getting free maintenance from approved vendors. And the piece de resistance, an anonymous Dropbox link containing 8 years of selectively enforced violations, each one with a home address corresponding to a board member's relative. Your phone buzzed with a new text alert. The fire department had red-tagged the clubhouse sprinklers. The same code enforcer who'd written you up for non-compliant garden edging now roped off the tennis court's deficient water supply. The poetic justice practically wrote itself when the city's cease and desist arrived. Not for you, but for the HOA's fraudulent utility representation. As twilight crept in, you took a slow drive past darkened houses where sprinkler systems sat silent. The same people who'd looked away when your livelihood got bulldozed were now wandering their driveways with puzzled expressions, testing spigots like that might reset reality. At the community gate, the one with the absurdly large Cherry Hill Estates sign, they'd find you for blocking with a harvest truck. You slowed just enough to watch the decorative fountain cough its last pathetic trickle into a growing puddle of irony. You could measure the exact moment their arrogance turned to desperation by the dwindling letters from the HOA attorney. Those first strongly worded cease and desist notices on thick ivory paper splashed with angry red urgent stamps. Then the cheaper copy paper memos. Finally, a pathetic email chain with the subject line, "Good Neighbor Discussion Request." The emergency board meeting had descended into pure chaos according to the Zoom screenshots flooding your phone. The once impeccable HOA president sat at her dining table with 2 obvious dress sits and what looked like 3-day-old mascara. The VP kept shouting over residents until someone unmuted to scream, "This is why your wife took the dog and left Kevin." The architectural review chair, the same woman who once rejected your greenhouse for disturbing the visual flow of sunset view corridors, now sobbed openly about her orchids dying. Then came the beautiful split-screen moment. While residents live-streamed the meeting meltdown from their dry bathtubs, your phone buzzed with a text from the county clerk. The transaction was complete. Every drop, every pipe, every rusted valve from the community well to the decorative pond shaped like a billionaire's poorly drawn self-portrait, legally yours right down to the mineral deposits. The first olive branch arrived via text at 3:17 a.m. No letterhead. No lawyer CCs. Just the treasurer's personal number, "Let's talk." You waited exactly 17 minutes to respond, the same time it took their bulldozer to reduce 2 years of irrigation work to scrap metal. Your reply: a screenshot of the original demolition order with one added word at the bottom, "Reciprocated." Dawn broke over a neighborhood in full revolt. Someone had taped printouts of the board's violation discrepancies to every stop sign. The clubhouse lawn, normally a surgically precise emerald carpet, now sported a hand-painted sign reading, "Water $20 a bucket," next to someone's actual childhood lemonade stand setup. But the real masterpiece, the next-door thread where 7 separate households remembered the exact moment the board screwed them over. Vindication has a very specific taste, like slightly metallic well water mixed with $36 a pound Vindaloo takeout eaten straight from the container at 11 p.m. while reading frantic HOA emails. Their attorney's 11th-hour offer of mutual easement rights came with about as much dignity as a caffeinated chihuahua barking at a sprinkler. You countered with 2 words, full surrender. The community turned on them faster than a bad TikTok trend. Formerly quiet retirees now led impromptu protests outside board members' homes with clever signs like, "My cactus is thirstier than your power trip." The yoga instructor from Lot 12 started a Hydration Justice Instagram story featuring increasingly creative water-saving techniques set to Lizzo tracks. Even their own maintenance crew flipped. You know it's over when the guy who once wrote you up for unapproved gutter cleanliness now texts you HOA meeting insider info complete with typos and unnecessary emojis. The final board meeting before the recall vote was a Shakespearean tragedy performed via unstable Wi-Fi. The treasurer literally turned his camera off mid-sentence to take a bourbon bottle swig. The architectural chair resigned live on air after someone played a supercut of her 14 unpermitted garden statues. And Karen, that icy composure finally cracked when her own sister unmuted to say what everyone was thinking, "You bullied the wrong damn farmer." As they tallied the recall votes, 297 to 3, the exact inverse of their last bogus community consensus survey, you turned the main valve back on with a satisfying clunk of justice served at perfect municipal pressure. The neighborhood didn't erupt in cheers. They erupted in toilet flushes. A symphony of restored normalcy conducted via hundreds of simultaneous showers, dishwasher cycles, and, in one particularly poetic case, someone's long-delayed attempt at filling that stupid koi pond. The new board's first email blast included photos of the old gate fountain being dismantled. The metal would be repurposed, they promised, into something actually useful. Your only suggested addition? A commemorative plaque where that obnoxious Cherry Hill Estates sign once stood. No grand speeches needed, just 4 words etched into recycled irrigation pipe. Flowing both ways now.